Hi guys, Hari here. Sorry for that. I'm guessing we're having some technical difficulties with the streaming, but we're getting back into this game now. It was remade all pick, EHOME versus Invictus Gaming, or IG, depending on how you want to call them, in the Prodota World Cup, and this should be a rematch of a pretty recent game or match, a rematch of a recent match between IG and EHOME. And I just need to turn off notifications on Steam because, goddamn, that's annoying. I seem to have people trouble loading in. There's a lot of static in the background too. That's actually coming from you, Holy. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I assume you can, but there's like constant static coming out of you. I'm not sure how I can just mute this person. Anyone? Or am I just...
Is it better?
No, it's the exact same. There's just like constant static coming from you.
I don't know.
It's like, it's
I muted
really...
the mic completely.
I am Shadow Shaman.
Prepare for battle.
Oh, for me? Yeah, alright, good call. Where's Skype at? Don't have one for Skype. Whatever. Oh, what? Yeah, I did scroll all the way left. Or all the way right, and there isn't one for Skype. I guarantee you. Wait, what? What did you say? The correct output on the left. What does that even mean? Yeah, it's headset.
30 seconds to battle.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. There we go. And now I can mute you here. Oh, thank God. Okay, now we're good. Sorry about that, guys. Just having some audio difficulties. Yeah, pretty stupid of me. Anyway, since we did have to remake all pick, I'll actually go over what the bans were real quick as this game is getting started. On EHOME's side, we had Windrunner, Darkseer, Furion, Vengeful Spirit, and Panda ban. Meanwhile, for the Dire, IG banned Chen, Lycan, Chaos Knight, Sand King, and Enigma. Going over the players and what they were playing. For EHOME, we have QQQ on Venomancer, King J playing Anti-Mage Cupid Cat on Earthshaker, Lan on Beastmaster, and then MMY on Invoker. Meanwhile, on IG side, Zhao is playing Queen of Pain, YYF on Nightstalker, 430 playing Broodmother Faith on the Shadow Demon, and Chuan playing the Rasta. And looks like we do have a setup for something down here bottom, but there's actually no sentries, so the Brood will be just fine. Meanwhile, IG is converging on Beastmaster top. The disruption is going to come out, but I'm not sure if the support now. No one's going to be here in time. It's going to go for a little bit of body block, but it's basically just going to be harassment, and Beastmaster is going to get out of here just fine. So no immediate action. We do have a Venomancer Illusion set up in the mid, maybe just to provide a little bit of intimidation factor on this Queen of Pain. But Queen of Pain's not really going to be that scared of a Venomancer, and I actually need to change my camera real quick so that I can get this fixed, since I am not a broadcaster. Free camera. Okay, all good. Meanwhile, looks like the Invoker is going for the Exhort build, which is more common these days, and therefore he has Iron Branches rather than Blades of Attack or anything like that. And we have a pretty... Well, it's not really typical these days, but old school typical tri-lane meeting sacrifice lane on both sides, and 1 versus 1 in the middle. The middle, I would say, generally speaking, would favor an Invoker against Queen of Pain, but an Invoker going Exhort, while he is going to have higher base damage, Queen of Pain really has an amazing attack animation, and she's going to be able to do some great harassment. She's already got level 1 in the Shadow Strike. She might consider going for 2 levels in it. I don't know if that is something she would like to do or not, whether she will just go for the more kind of older standard. Yeah, she actually is getting level 1 Scream of Pain at level 3 here, so she will not be going for 2 levels in Shadow Strike, which I feel like would be a pretty decent call against Invoker. I mean, Invoker without any levels in Quas early on is going to be really susceptible to harassment, and that extra harassment that comes out from a Shadow Strike would be pretty amazing. But, yeah, I mean, this way she's going to have more burst damage, so if there are ganks coming, which is much more likely, given that you have tri-lanes against solos, it's going to be easier for her to guarantee a kill on that Invoker. And actually, yeah, my graphics are slightly... This game, every kill is just showing some weird... or all the creep stat kill things or showing weird graphics, but it's not really going to change too much. We do have sentries down the bottom now, finally placed. I guess they were they on the Anti-Mage? No, I guess the Earthshaker had gotten some sent to him, and placed one, has the other one still on him. Yeah, the Dyra has actually placed a ward here at the Ancient Camp for the Radiant, which is going to see the Beastmaster stacking this. So they don't want to actually block it. Their goal here is actually going to be to catch the Beastmaster out when he tries to take the stack and pick him off, and then hopefully take the stack for themselves. So kind of more aggressive approach rather than just blocking it, which is probably going to get counter-warded anyway. So kind of, I don't know, more ballsy. I like that. Other than that, not really a ton to say. Another sentry gets placed on bottom, but surely enough, the Broodmother is just going to run away. Broodmother has picked up level 3, whereas the Beastmaster is still stuck at level 1, actually. And he's actually going to head into the jungle now. He ran all the way back to base, and he's just going... No, maybe not going to go into the jungle. He's heading towards the mid. He does already have a Soul Ring recipe as well as boots, but still 700 gold off from... 700 gold approximately off from actually finishing a Soul Ring, which is what he's going to need to get this camp. I guess he's just heading here to stack it manually. Since he is level 1, he can't actually do it with a board. Meanwhile, there is a little bit of action going on bottom, trying to catch this Broodmother out, but not really going to be successful. Queen of Pain does... wow, they still haven't upgraded the courier. That's a little bit slow. I mean, they've got this support Shadow Shaman and support Shadow Demon. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. Whatever, I'm just calling Rasta. Support Rasta and support Shadow Demon. You would expect that one of them with 400 gold would have upgraded the courier by now, so I don't know, maybe they're both just looking for boots to get that roaming on. Anyway, action on the bottom. They are going to go for Ferrari again here. Sunstrike going to come out. Will it hit? It does actually hit, and this is going to be a dead Broodmother, and first blood actually given to the Anti-Mage, which is going to be really good for EHOME here, to get King J getting that first blood. And King J is going what would be known as the Burning build. 1 point Mana Break, 1 point Blink, 1 point Spell Shield. This build kind of fell out of favor since people realized that Mana Break is actually a really good ability. But it gives you a bit more tankiness and makes it even easier for you to last hit, which since he didn't go for a Quelling Blade is kind of important. Meanwhile, Chuan does have this Invis Rune mid, is looking to set up on Invokers. No, yeah, I think they did see the Invis Rune picked up because the Beastmaster was up there at the time. Yeah, Beastmaster is still just manually stacking this himself. Needs level 3 before... No, he actually... Yeah, he needs level 3 in order to actually get the board to stack for him. And because of the ward up there, it would be difficult even to do that then. So he's just manually stacking this, but Chuan is not having any of that sitting up here and making it really difficult for the Beastmaster to do anything like that. If the Beastmaster were to try to pull the stack, the Shadow Shaman, yeah, Rasta would just shackle him and make him take a ton of damage from those Ancients in the 2 seconds that the shackle, 2.5 seconds that the shackle holds him. Yeah, not really a whole else developing. I mean, this is kind of what happens when you have tri-lanes against tri-lanes, but not actually facing each other. Just kind of passing him. They actually have placed another sentry down, but they're not letting the Brood know it. But yeah, now the jig is up and the Brood is just going to back off and be just fine here. But anyway, yeah, so for those that don't know, recently in the Gigabyte Masters, we actually did have a meeting between EHOME and IG, which IG won quite convincingly, actually. IG has been on quite a winning spree lately. And EHOME, who started off very strong, I don't know, I would say about a month ago, have actually been kind of inconsistent lately. They've had winning streaks and losing streaks, so we'll have to see if they can kind of turn this around and get one game back from IG, because this is a best of one. Oh, we actually have the Night Stalker immediately teleporting in mid. Now that it is 6 minutes in, and that is Night. Disruption coming out. Beastmaster is here, but won't be able to do a whole lot. Invoker is real dead. The illusions from the disruption actually even tanking the tower, so not a lot of damage taken by the Dire there. Oh, but the Courier actually flying in is going to tank 2 hits from the tower, and it's going to go down, so really careless there with the Courier. Flying it all the way across the map. I assume that the Night Stalker actually had flown it to himself up the top, or the Shadow Demon, one of those two. Or I guess maybe, I don't know. It probably wasn't the Queen of Pain, because the path it took was from the top. So it was one of those heroes from the top, maybe even the Rasta. And actually, they're roaming down here to the bottom. Nice ward placed down by the Venomancer, blocking off that path immediately. And they're just going to fall back behind the tower. Brood doesn't have any mana left to spawn up Spiderlings here, so she won't be able to force this into the tower, really, which would allow them to dive behind and get kills much more quickly. Instead, they're having to right-click down the creep wave, which is going much more slowly, and will make it more difficult for them to dive. Meanwhile, Lan on Beastmaster is very happy to pick up some much-needed levels in the middle, and he is now actually stacking with his boar as well, although that stack did fail. And we actually do have a pause coming out from Chuan, who needs to relog. I guess he's having problems with me. Yeah, maybe lots of people, so I'm going to actually just... I guess I can risk it. Just don't press leave game, right? I'm going to relog as well while this is happening. So yeah, I'm going to check Skype as well. Yeah, I'm sure that Holy is entertaining you guys by showing you something interesting in the game while it's paused like this. Unfortunately, I can't really talk since I can't actually even see the stat screen. Sorry about that. No, it's not very professional, but my game was being a little bit buggy there for no really apparent reason. But I am reconnecting in right now, and hopefully that should be fine. Take a look at the Twitch chat. Actually, nothing in the chat. Only 17 viewers. Can't really blame you guys with DreamHack going on right now. Although I'm not sure that there's a DreamHack match going on since Na'Vi just beat EG. I didn't really know if the finals were going to take place today or not. Although maybe someone will correct me on that in the chat, which would be great to know because I'd really love to watch that later today. Yeah, so we're back in. Still have the pause. Going to take a look at the gold and experience graphs. Gold graph, 750 in the favor of the Radiant experience, 1,500 in the favor of the Dire. So basically, even game essentially at this point. No real significant advantage for either team. The First Blood did give EHOME a little bit of a gold advantage, especially on the anti-mage, which is important. But at the same time, Faith has just had slightly better control of the lanes, and the fact that the Brood has actually managed to get some levels, whereas the Beastmaster had not up until this point, meant that they gained a slight experience advantage. And I have to do this trick again real quick, since I just left the game. Don't tell me it's not going to work now. Click you, click on that, and free camera. Oh, great. Now I can't even click on heroes anymore. Maybe I shouldn't have relogged. What a mistake. Anyway, this push on the bottom is still going to be coming, it looks like. Level 1 Venom Ward's not going to do anything but just give a little bit of extra golden experience to the Night Stalker who right-clicks him down. They do have the catapult here, so this is convenient timing, I'm sure, intentional. God, I wish I could see it. I really need to fix this. It's going to drive me crazy. Queen of Pain, where are you? Alright, I'm going to click on you. And switch perspective to this person. Nope, not working. God, that's really annoying. Okay, well, I guess I can't actually click on heroes anymore, which is kind of a pain. Really need more broadcaster slots, please, Valve. But, yeah. Bottom tower does go down. Oh my god, this is going to drive me crazy. Brood, level 5. Queen of Pain, level 7 in the mid. I don't really know what I'm saying. It's just going to put me on so much tilt, not being able to actually click on heroes. Why is it when I set the camera to anyone? I would feel bad for the fact that I'm talking about nothing if it wasn't for the fact that we only had 17 viewers. As you could, oh yeah, but he can hear me, but I have Skype muted now, so I guess even if he's making suggestions, I'm not actually getting it. Night Stalker is, I guess, an Invis rune, because he can't be smoked, because he would have been revealed there. Looking for a gank here somewhere. He's actually going to come up and find this level 5 Beastmaster trying to take these Ancients. This is going to be the perfect opportunity for him to try to get a kill. Beastmaster has no idea that he's here. I wish I had some sort of an idea of how long he had left on this Invis rune, but I do not. And, yeah, he is going to try to get this. Earthshaker is in a good position. Queen of Pain blinks up. The Earthshaker Fisher actually completely missing, and Queen of Pain going to finish off quickly with alt. Top portraits. No, even when I click on the top portraits, it just immediately takes me back to Queen of Pain. For some reason, no matter what I do, it just reverts to Queen of Pain every time. It's locked. I guess I'm going to unmute Skype for a second so that you can explain this to me without having to type in spectator chat. Okay, Skype's unmuted now. No matter what I do, it just, it's like locked on Queen of Pain. And even doing the trick, I can set it to directed, I can set it to Holy's perspective, click on someone else, but even when I try to click on someone else while Holy's perspective is set, it just keeps reselecting Queen of Pain. Any suggestion? Excellent. It's really difficult to commentate a game when you can't click on anyone but one hero. Yeah, unfortunately relogging is what did this in the first place, I think. But yeah, alright, I guess. Oh god, this is insane. Someone in the chat was kind enough to point out that the MTW versus Na'Vi Grand Final in about an hour and a half. So it's perfect right after this match should be over.
You wanted that.
Alright, relogging.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Okay, now it works. Thank God. Okay, I'm back to being able to cast this game, actually. I assume... Oh my god. Well, IG took a little bit of an advantage while I was gone. Jesus. I don't know how they could even get that much advantage that quickly. Also, yeah, Invoker going down the mid, sorry. Kind of got to get back into this game. But yeah, so basically, IG really pulling ahead, which is kind of what I expected here, based on the difference at the level IG is playing at versus EHOME recently. But, I don't know, maybe EHOME can turn this around. I mean, they still got an anti-mage. He's close to getting his Battle Fury. He actually has not died and does have that one kill still. Unfortunately, because of the amount of control that IG has asserted. Actually, yeah, I'm looking at the control because you see how aggressive their wards are. But oh, and actually, Night Stalker coming in and just going to gank the anti-mage. Level 1 silence enough during the night to kill him along with the double damage room. But yeah, I wanted to point out, they've actually placed basically 2 wards in essentially the same spot. This is kind of poor warding, but I guess there was maybe some miscommunication or indecision about where exactly they wanted to place the ward. So they placed one and then ended up placing the other afterwards. And I think they placed the right one first and then decided they wanted the left one because they don't want anti-mage farming those neutrals there. Although with the creep or the trees destroyed, thanks to Beastmaster, anti-mage will actually be able to still tank the weak neutral camp, even without actually having to walk in vision of that ward. But yeah, the kind of warding kind of shows you the amount of control that IG has on the map, which makes it very difficult for anti-mage to get anywhere to farm. He's actually going to TP top to deny his tower, but this is actually going to really cost him quite a bit. No, it's not actually. He could actually just turn around and hit the... Oh, yeah, but he only has 1 level in mana break. He's going the burning build, so even hitting the Queen of Pain wouldn't have done a whole much. Roar's going to come in, blinking from the anti-mage. Sunstrike is going to be enough to actually finish off the Queen of Pain there. So they do actually manage to kill that Queen of Pain, who was overplaying a little bit. I guess she was looking to try to just steal that tower kill, but anti-mage with the deny kind of stole her fruit, so to speak. 3 levels on the Plague Wards, doing a decent job defending this push mid. IG doesn't really have anything that's that strong of push for straight up push. I mean, they got a split push in the Brood, who's kind of constantly pressuring this bottom tower as well as farming the jungle. And this is I mean, with these sorts of wards and the amount of space they've taken on the bottom here, Brood has just basically complete free farm. And actually, I didn't even realize she went for a Midas. That's unusual to say the least. I mean, it's just going to help her farm even faster. It's not really I would say, necessary item, but it can't hurt. I mean, if you can go Midas, why not? Attack speed doesn't do a whole lot for her, generally speaking, because Brood's problem is that she actually has to try to stay next to the enemy. I mean, obviously, when you get a lot of high damage, you want increased attack speed. And she does get quite high damage from her ult, so it's not untrue that DPS-wise it does increase significantly the amount she's able to output, but at the same time, like I said, she has difficulty staying next to heroes, or at least getting in there and actually dealing damage to them. So still isn't that much of a DPS increase, but again, sure, it's more of a farming choice, and with the amount of advantage they have, it's easy for them to do this. Helps them clear the neutrals that much faster. And yeah, this ward actually no, those are actually their spiders farming these the neutrals in here. So I mean, this kind of shows how IG is just being really patient. They've taken control of the game, and they're basically just, I mean, they're farming all 3 lanes. As soon as this top lane gets pushed up to their tower, the Queen of Pain immediately TP's up here to take it. They're just going to keep farming all these lanes and farm the enemy jungle, and they're just going to keep gaining more and more of an incremental advantage as they do this. It is night now. This is actually an ult night, I guess, from the Night Stalker, and I guess that was because they were trying to gank that Invoker bottom, but didn't actually succeed. I wonder, did the Invoker... Yeah, he ghost walked out, actually. I was wondering, and yeah, there's no way he has his 4-staff yet because the lack of success they've had so far. Queen of Pain at 2,000 gold hasn't actually bought up anything past the treads at this point. That would actually be a good cue to take look at items. I assume she's going to go for a Necronomicon with that much gold saved up, and the fact that they're kind of looking to end this game, I think, sooner rather than later against an anti-mage. Which, speaking of going items, I would have assumed that the Broodmother would have actually gone for an Orchid, a quick Orchid, make it that much easier to gank this anti-mage. But decided against it, again, instead going for the Midas, but still could end up going for the Orchid afterwards. We'll have to see. Taking a look at everyone else's items, the anti-mage still, God, has been so close to getting that Battle Fury for so long now, is 200 gold away, basically. We'll almost have it with his creep camp here if he actually manages to take this without being interrupted by the Shadow Demon, but I think he should be fine. Meanwhile, yeah, just basic support items on essentially everyone else. Beastmaster still just has a soul ring, has a ring of regen. I would just there's possibilities for a Vlad's, Although more likely, since they don't have Venge, they're probably not really looking to Aura stack. I would have to guess that he's going for a pipe with that instead. And yeah, the Invoker just has a Cloak of his own and Phase Boots. Cloak, I would assume he's not going to go for Hood with that or pipe or anything like that. I mean, there's a chance he could go for Hood, but it's less likely. He certainly, I don't think, will be going for pipe. But it's just, there's a lot of magic damage coming out from the Dire, and having that extra resistance really helps. Especially since he gets a fair amount of strength by default from just a couple levels in Quas, which he will actually be increasing for his next 2 levels. To get the double Forge Spirits, he's 2 levels in Quas off on that, although with level 11 being, yeah, so he'll get it at level 11. We actually, do we have a Vlad's up for someone here? I would assume, because there's lifesteal on all these. Is it on the Night Stalker? Yeah, Night Stalker actually has picked up a Vlad's. A little bit unusual, but it makes sense when you're really trying to push. Giving that extra armor is just so important for trying to take down towers and get past creep waves. The lifesteal not insignificant, but the armor being the real reason to do it, that +5 armor. But then an obvious bonus is making it very easy to steal Roche, which is exactly what you do when, well, it's what you do when you're the Dire anyway, but it's especially what you do when you're this far ahead. Any other items of note? We do have a gem already up on that Shadow Demon. There's really no Invis here on the Radiant. There's the Ghost Walk, I guess, which might have pissed him off one time, but I don't even think he was there for that. So that's probably not the reason. More so, he's just doing it to take out all the Radiant wards on the map and to complete their map domination. I wouldn't even call it map advantage or map control advantage, just complete domination of the map at this point. And Zhao actually has decided to pick up Ultimate Orb, so actually not going to be going for the Necronomicon, actually is going to go for Hex instead. I mean, that's another reason you would save up to 2,000 gold, certainly. Although Hex first item isn't as common as it might have been a little while ago, especially with heroes like Beastmaster, who's going to make it really risky for you to be locked down. That Hex not providing a ton of, I mean, you get +10 strength, but that's not a whole lot. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. We know we have Blink and Arcane almost mech finished too on the Shadow Demon. Actually, action is going to come in here. Night Stalker running forward. Roar actually is going to come out on that Queen of Pain, but Venomancer is just going to go down. Venomancer did get a good ult off on doing a lot of damage, taking down Shackles coming out on the Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage still not taking any damage. Queen of Pain ult hitting just the Anti-Mage. Actually, the shock from the Rasta is enough to really push him back. Oh, Night Stalker, is he going to live? Wow, that Fissure completely blocking off EHOME there. Really poor Fissure. If he just aimed it a little bit more to the left, it would have gotten the stun, and they would have been able to finish off the Night Stalker, but instead the Night Stalker was able to escape thanks to the Fissure. Shadow Shaman actually blinking back in, like I was talking about with that blink, and is actually going to just steal the... oh no, but he actually doesn't manage to steal it. The ward from the Venomancer does manage to get it, but Shadow Shaman is content to instead kill the Beastmaster, since the Venomancer ward did manage to pick up the Ancient. And all this time, the Brood has just been pushing the bottom, 4,300 gold up. So I have to wonder if she will consider that Orchid now, or if she's just going to go straight for the BKB, or what exactly the plan will be here. I mean, Manta is also a possibility. Manta really good at helping you go high ground as a Brood. You know, there was a kind of a speech or a dissertation given, I think it was by NS, about why Manta should be the default item for Brood. She actually hasn't even finished up treads yet. I wonder, maybe she's going to go for Travels, although I really don't like Travels on Brood. Although, I guess with Midas, it's maybe a little bit more reasonable, since you can, I don't know, steal creeps from somewhere else. Yeah, it's not any more reasonable. I was trying to give it credence, but I can't. And he's stopping here, so I assume this is him buying something for himself. He actually does end up going for the BKB. BKB going to be fine. They do have Beastmaster, as was mentioned earlier, but Beastmaster can't ult everyone, and Beastmaster is going to be much more inclined to ult someone like the Night Stalker or like the Queen of Pain, who really wants to get in there and relies on mobility more. I mean, Broodmother relies on mobility quite a bit too, but Broodmother's not really as much of a threat, really, as the Queen of Pain and the Night Stalker are. Well, Broodmother with this much farm might be. He really should finish up his treads, I would think. Unless he's going for something else. He's actually got the Courier just sitting at the Ancient, or at the Secret Shop, but actually I guess that was just for someone else. I wanted to pick up Ogre Club and Point Booster. Assume that's for Aghanims, but for, I gotta guess, the Night Stalker. Man, this Courier's flying everywhere. Yeah, it does have the treads for the Broodmother as well. So sending that out. to the Broodmother. And yeah, I assume the Point Booster and the Ogre Club will be for that Night Stalker. It would make sense to get the, I mean, Point Booster and Ogre Club both great. Well, Point Booster is just great for any hero, and Ogre Club also pretty good for most heroes, really good for a hero who's a strength hero. And yeah, he does grab both of those up. So he's going to be going for his next item, Aghanims, opting not to go for a BKB or anything like that. Didn't even go for Urn, actually. I mean, this is kind of an unusual build, but, well, Chinese teams play slightly unusual Dota, so... I mean, going for an early Aghanims isn't that unusual, but going from it off of the Vlads was not the most common. But like we talked about with the pushing, it kind of makes sense. Although they haven't really tried to push for a while since getting that Vlad. So I mean, if it was just for the Roche deal, I'm not really sure that it was that necessary. They have the Rasta wards anyway. They were able to take Roche, I think, even without the Vlads. But here does come the push, and the Night Stalker is leading the way, so they will have that armor up in the front. He actually does get a Void up on the Venomancer. Thinking about going for the... Yeah, Queen of Pain actually blinked up to the high ground. Maybe he was looking to ult down from the high ground, but actually just didn't really get anyone. And, oh, but then she blinks in there. Rory is going to come out from the Beastmaster. Queen of Pain probably going to go... Oh, no, nice defensive disruption. Earthshaker ult not doing a whole lot, and Queen of Pain actually is going to be fine. She was actually happy to go in there and die since she has the Aegis, but wasn't even necessary thanks to a really nice disruption from the Shadow Demon there. And, yeah, Shadow Demon actually has gone for max points in Shadow Poison, even though he was a support. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage actually has pushed out this top a little bit. Double damage on this Queen of Pain is going to be enough to scare the Anti-Mage off, since the Anti-Mage, as was mentioned, still only has 1 level in Mana Break, so can't really just turn and fight Queen of Pain like an Anti-Mage normally could. Which is another reason I kind of might doubt this build in these circumstances. I mean, when you're playing against a hero like Queen of Pain, Anti-Mage is a nice counter when he has the Mana Break early on, but he hasn't really had that, and that's why he's been really a non-factor. I mean, he does have his Battle Fury finished for a while now. He's been farming, and looks like he has Ring of Regen. I would assume that's going to be going towards the Vlads. Again, not sure how necessary that's going to be. I mean, it helps him farm faster, but he's really going to find the space to farm that much. And I mean, even just with Treads, Stout Shield, and Battle Fury, you can pretty easily take neutral camps without needing that much regen from the Vlads. Maybe he picked up the Ring of Regen earlier and I just didn't notice, although I don't think that was the case. I mean, picking one up early if you're kind of having some health regen issues, although, yeah, he probably got the Ring of Health anyway. He's got the early First Blood, so I doubt he would have needed that. So I have to assume this is going towards the Vlads. There's no way he's going to be making a hood on Anti-Mage. Back to the Beastmaster. Beastmaster actually did turn that Ring of Regen into a Mechasm. Unusual, to say the least. Mecha not normally picked up on Beastmaster. Normally you would see the... a pipe. The reason simply being that, you know, Hood provides percentage mitigation, so it's always better on a hero who has more HP, because having percentage mitigation is always more effective the more health, flat health you have, because that's just going to mean that it actually gives you that much more effective HP. So typically you would go for Hood on a hero who has a lot of health, so that he's harder to bring down, more likely to be able to get that pipe up, and yeah, the mech can pretty much just go on anyone who can get it. I mean, a tanky hero helps because then they're also less likely to be taken down, but any sort of support really works. But I guess just getting that mech up was a high priority for them. Maybe the Invoker will go for the pipe, but no, I don't think so. Has his drums finished. Anyway, Beastmaster Roar coming out on the Night Stalker. Night Stalker going to be taking a ton of damage here. Nice disruption again, though. Is going to save his life, at least for the time being. Mech coming out, and Night Stalker will actually live. IG going to try turning this fight around, but the Queen of Pain ult actually only hitting on illusions and basically nothing else. So that's actually going to signal the end of the fight there. A little bit of a misplay there by Zhao, the Queen of Pain ult. And EHOME does manage to take the tower at the same time, and Anti-Mage is just down the bottom farming. So overall, that was a good fight for EHOME. I mean, they used some ults on the Night Stalker and didn't really get anything with it, but they didn't really lose anything either. Well, and they got a tower, so that's, yeah, it's nice. And especially, I mean, the more time you spend not losing when you have an Anti-Mage on your team, the better it's going to be. Although, arguably better, because you're still up against a Shadow Demon who's an amazing counter to Anti-Mage. I mean, he will start getting more levels in the Disruption soon enough. And at the same time that the Anti-Mage is getting pretty strong, those disrupted copies are going to be doing a whole lot. And I guess, yeah, I mean, I didn't really mention, and I certainly should have, that is a reason for going the Burning build when you're playing against Shadow Demon. And in fact, I mean, we've seen some Anti-Mages who've actually just gone Blink and Spell Shield and actually no points in Mana Break because they were up against Shadow Demon. But I don't know, I mean, I feel like that's almost a situation where you just kind of got outpicked. If you're taking Anti-Mage and then you have to play around the Shadow Demon that much, maybe it wasn't even worth taking the Anti-Mage instead, when there's plenty of other viable heroes who can carry for you, like a Morphling or even a Void, and if you wanted a melee carry. Anyway, IG are going to pressure this top tower. They have a catapult here. Rasta does have level 2 wards. Could think about playing him down. Rasta is the one with that mech. as well. So as I talked about earlier, he had that headdress, was looking at getting close to a mech.
Radiant's top tower
And yeah, now he has it. So he's got some actually really nice items, mostly thanks to all these tower gold he's gotten. And let's see, how many kills does he have actually? He has 1-0, 2 assists, 93 CS. 93 CS actually pretty nice, so he's done a fair amount of time farming. Beastmaster in a really bad spot in the mid here is actually going to go down, and there's not going to be any help coming out from EHOME. But actually, Chuan's not done here. They are going to catch the Earthshaker as well, and Earthshaker is going to go down as well. And we'll have to see if they do decide to try to turn this into a push. Roche will be back up in just about a minute here. So maybe they'll just try to pressure the mid tower a little bit here. They do have the Rasta wards though, so I would see good incentive for going all in here. I mean, not going all in, but going in, all of them. But unfortunately, we do have a pretty decent Venomancer wall here, as well as the Forge Spirits, which are going to do a fair amount of counter push. They're just going to have to do some chip to this tower. I guess their hope is pretty much just to bring it to half, to back off and go take Roche, and that looks like that's about exactly what's going to happen here. Tower just slightly above half. And IG is going to back off and head over towards Roche. I assume they have that timer, and they know that basically right when they get there is when Roche will be back up. And just like clockwork, the Broodmother is pushing, I mean, not the Broodmother, whatever, not be pushing in bottom. But she's going to keep this bottom lane pushed in. Because they just pushed in the mid, because the Brood's going to have bottom pushed in, it's going to be almost impossible for EHOME to make it over to Roche. They're going to have to smoke up if they want to do it, but you've got this great Dire Ward actually down here, which is going to show maybe the most likely place that the Radiant would consider smoking. So there's really just no way the Radiant is going to be able to get over here to contest this Roche. And with another free Roche, that's just going to let IG play even more aggressively. And I guess that's a reason why you can go first item Hex on Queen of Pain. I mean, if you're going to be aggressive, it allows you to jump in and get Hexes on people right away. And if you know you're going to constantly have Aegises, if you know you're going to constantly have an Aegis on you, there we go, it's pretty safe for you to have first item. And actually going for a Demon Edge now, too. This wouldn't be a Divine Rapier, would it? No, I've got to assume maybe just a MKB or something like that. I mean, I would certainly be entertained by a Divine Rapier rush with the Aegis up here and having Hex already. She has gone for some extra points in stats. She does have treads. I mean, because she only went with 1 point in Shadow Strike just for the slow. Hasn't actually wanted to go any more points in it for the extra damage. And so therefore she is about as tanky as can be with those strength treads and the extra points in stats. So, I mean, it's a possibility. It's an exciting possibility, if nothing else. But, like I said, more likely is that she's just going for the MKB. I mean, when you go MKB, you're going to pick up the Demon Edge first item pretty much every time anyway. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case. And it would, you know, be effective in case the Anti-Mage was thinking about going for Butterfly at any point. Although Anti-Mage honestly would be quite a ways off from Butterfly. Does have his Vlad's and Yasha already picked up. So he's actually been farming quite well. I'd like to take a look at his gold per minute. He's sitting at 415, so he's really bounced back quite effectively. I mean, 415 is not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, and if you take a look, there are two heroes, Ferrari's Broodmother and Zhao's Queen of Pain, both at higher gold per minutes on the Dire, and you've actually got two supports with quite, well, not supports, I mean, you've got Chuan on the Shadow Shaman, who was originally in a support role, who has quite high GPM, as well as that Night Stalker, so I mean, you've got some really good gold all split around on the Dire there, whereas the Radiant certainly doesn't have that. But if nothing else, King J is farming well. Once he has that Manta, he's going to be a lot less susceptible to the Night Stalker, at least, being able to Manta out of that Night Stalker silence. And actually taking a look at the gold graph, oh god, 20k advantage for the Dire. Yeah, I mean that's not insurmountable, but it's pretty up there. Look at this Broodmother too. God, she's been taking all these camps, keeping this lane constantly pushed. I mean, this has been some really nice Broodmother play. Does have her BKB finished up, obviously, for a while now, and the Yasha actually she has enough to finish Manta with that easily. So I would guess that would be the case here. It's just going to take that Manta to try to high ground, as I was talking about earlier on, but I can't be certain for that. You never know, could go S and Y. That's not going to happen. God, that item is just terrible. Just terrible. YYF has the gem on him now, actually. It was passed over from the Shadow Demon. Maybe it was picked up. I don't think the Shadow Demon has died in a while, or if ever... No, has not died, so didn't lose that gem. So they just gave it to the Night Stalker, just... well, since he has the Aghanims now, I mean, he can run around and basically see any wards anywhere on the map, so it's just an even greater form of map control. And he does have his Ogre Club picked up, so we'll be going for that BKB next item. And yeah, they're just going to basically keep these lanes pushed in, and yeah, keep this situation the way it is. Just taking a look at the chat right now. He's not there to have raided. They lost some of the tourney. Yeah, okay. Back to the game. Sorry about that. There's not a lot of action going on. I mean, a lot of posturing, so I figured that it would be a reasonable time to check the chat. Normally a lot better to check Twitch chat when you have a co-caster. Unfortunately, I do not today. Wish I did. Yeah, if any of you are aspiring casters out there, you can consider it. Hitting me up, although, well, Holy's probably not going to be too happy with me saying that. I think there was someone else who might have been able to cast today, but it was just kind of short notice. There was another game we were supposed to cast today, and then it got pushed back, and then basically we'd just been distracted, or at least I had been distracted watching DreamHack. I mean, because who wouldn't be watching DreamHack right now? Well, not right now, because actually the game isn't on, from at least what people said in the chat, but soon enough, so... Hope this is actually a nice interlude for you guys in between those DreamHack games. Will be interesting to watch Navi in the finals, and by interesting, I mean to say, well, I don't... Oh, God, there's actually... How embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It was a 2-10 game at 30 minutes. I think I can be forgiven for digressing a little bit. But I was just saying that, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Navi just so strong right now. It'll be interesting to see how they fare in the finals, whether they just stomp MTW or when their MTW can put up a fight. My bet would be against MTW in this regard, but you never know. Maybe MTW can take a game, and regardless, it should be exciting games, because Navi games are pretty much always exciting. I wouldn't say the antithesis of this game, but yeah, maybe a little bit the opposite of this. Although you really can't blame either team. I mean, all the outer towers are down at this point, so IG's taking all they can. It's really difficult to go high ground. And meanwhile, EHOME is forced back into their base by IG, so there's not really a whole lot they can do other than what I assume was a smoke gank bottom. Smoke ganks, and just try to slowly claw their way back in. So, I mean, this is exactly how the game should play out at this point. It's not like you can blame either team for this. It's just, yeah, well, not always the most exciting to watch. And the MKB actually is finished up on the Queen of Fanes. That was an MKB, not going for a rapier. Less exciting, but the choice nonetheless. And Broodmother has actually opted to go for an Eagle Song actually after the Yasha, so not going to finish up the Manta. Going to go straight into Butterfly, actually. Just wanted the Yasha for, more damage, attack speed, move speed, basically everything good. And I mean, more movement speed on Broodmother is always nice, makes it that much more difficult to get ganked, and makes it that much easier for you to get in, like I was talking about earlier on. Chuan does have Ogre Club plus point booster. It's possible he just has the point booster because it's amazing. He still wants to go for the BKB anyway, but there is a Beastmaster on the Radiant, so again, I would assume this is going to be for an Aghanims, which would also be something that would help them high ground. Yeah, the Night Stalker still... he's got to have his BKB flying on the courier, I would assume. We're back in the stash. No, he's got the Ogre Club plus the recipe. Maybe it is in the stash, although I think it would show it. Maybe it's not a broadcaster, doesn't. Who knows? TP's coming top. Anti-Mage is doing a really good job of split pushing and not getting caught. I mean, he does have the Manta, so it's quite difficult for him to be caught at this point anyway. So he's certainly doing what he's supposed to. And 2 levels in Mana Break now. Will eventually be able to Mana Burn that Queen of Fane. But yeah, let's take a look at his gold per minute again. He is sitting at 455 now, so yeah, climbing up there towards 500. And actually still has not surpassed the Queen of Fane or the Brood, though. Both of them farming exceedingly well as well. Queen of Fane getting this Monkey King bar obviously makes a lot of sense as well. Also, I mean, I feel like I'd just kind of... repeating myself a lot here, saying high ground, high ground, high ground, but that's pretty much all the game is about at this point for both teams. It's for EHOME being able to delay that as much as possible, and IG for being able to take that. And MKB is great for going high ground, taking towers, because she can sit back and do a lot of right-click damage, over 200 now, to the tower, and not have to worry about misses. She doesn't have to worry about walking up, which is one of the big difficulties. They have actually smoke ganked, though, and they're going to look for this Anti-Mage down here. Anti-Mage knows what's coming. Spidey sense is tingling. Will Queen of Pain blink in Hex in time? No, just barely not in time. Actually, the smoke not even dispelled on her, but it is dispelled on the Shadow Demon. God, driving me crazy, those two in the same game. So... they do know that the other team, that IG was smoked and was looking for a gank, which is what they need to try to push in here. But Anti-Mage is just going to keep farming. I would assume he's going to look towards Heart next, which, make him pretty difficult to kill. Kind of, once he has, I would say, Vlad's Heart, Battle Fury, Manta Treads, he's going to be at the point where he's very, very difficult to deal with for IG, even with the large advantage IG has. I mean, I guess that's really the only hope at this point for EHOME. Still 20,000 gold advantage. And yeah, here comes the high grounding-ish. But unfortunately, they just have nothing to tank for them, which is really why I feel like this Broodmother should have gone for a Manta. That would have given them something just to, you know, stall the tower, take a little bit more damage when those spiderlings are dead, and allow them to right-click on that tower for a little bit longer. Earthshaker actually has picked up his Blink. This is going to be really good. If they are able to pick up a nice initiation on the back of the Earthshaker here, if IG clumps up, not knowing about this Blink being up yet, there will be the possibility. Tower is down. EHOME is going to have to do this soon. Is IG going to come up on the ramp, or are they just going to back off? Looks like they're going to maybe opt to just play a little bit more carefully, which is going to be good for them. I don't think they've... Oh, the Spiderlings scout out the Earthshaker, so they have... Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they clicked on them. I mean, Chinese players are so good with ridiculous APM, so I'm sure they've seen that Blink now, and they are going to stay spread out. So the surprise factor is lost. Actually, smoking up on the Earthshaker now, so that the Spiderlings won't be able to come get him again, prevent him from blinking out. But he has already been spotted, unfortunately, so they've got to hope that their opening comes within the next 15 seconds or so before the smoke wears off. Otherwise, it's going to be a real wasted smoke. But IG is just being too careful, too cautious, not going to leave anything chance. Anti-Mage looks to go here, but is not going to be able to. Manta Illusions are up. Just right-clicking down that Catapult, which is dealing a fair amount of damage. Brought down about a third of the health on that melee barracks, which is what IG wants here. But Disruption actually going to come out on the Anti-Mage, so you are going to have some nice burn. 3 stacks of Shadow Poison actually up on the Anti-Mage here. Fisher coming out, catching Chuan, but no, everyone's just going to back up again. But Queen of Pain still doing more right clicks on the tower, 2/3 of its health basically gone. And is IG going to back up, or are they going to come in with this next creep wave? Nope, blinking out actually. They are going to leave. Is Roche almost back up? Yep. Roche is going to be up in just under a minute. So they're just going to farm some Ancients, or some Neutrals, and go take Roche. They don't want to risk having a fight start, and having Zhao die right after the Aegis is reclaimed, so they'd rather just go in here and make sure that they have this. And then they will continue to push in bottom, and I imagine take Rax at that point. I have to assume. Zhao actually has picked up Illusion Rune too, so I guess they'll use that to push in. I would have assumed he would have maybe used that to scout out. I mean, they do only have 1 ward up here. There really hasn't been an opportunity for either team to place a lot of wards recently. There's just been so much pressure in the last minute or so. Yeah, not a lot of pressure before that, but, well, felt pressure, maybe not actual pressure. And not even needing to use the Shaman wards for this. They're going to take this down exceedingly quickly. The Broodmother doing a ton of damage. I mean, can't out-carry an Anti-Mage, certainly, but isn't too far away from that with just the sick amount of items she has from getting that early Midas and just supercharging her farm. Anti-Mage, 3,300 gold. Could consider going and buying his Reaver, but is probably going to want to save for buybacks instead. Although, as I say that, he is heading over to the secret shop. Is he going to do it? No. I'm going to have a drink of water because my throat is killing me. Solo casting sucks sometimes, huh? Oh, that's good stuff. But yeah. I guess IG is just going to want to put some pressure on these other 2 lanes, push them out a bit first before they try going in bottom. They don't really want to have to lose towers on the off chance of not taking anything. Although, I don't know, I mean, the Rax is at half health. They knew that it was down to about 500 health before. I would assume they would want to do this as quickly as possible before it regenerates too much. And surely enough, Queen of Pain is wandering her way down here. It does have 5k gold, actually. So it's going to look to actually buy something up from the secret shop here. It does buy another Demon Edge. Could be for crit, or, again, could be for that Rapier. God, Rapier would be so sexy. And Anti-Mage actually goes for the BKB, decides to buy it, so he has no buyback now. Really going to rely on this BKB here. BKB, I mean, BKB shows that you really understand that you have very... I mean, BKB is when you want to force a fight. You don't go BKB unless you plan on fighting, which obviously isn't necessarily that they want to fight here, but that they understand that the fight is coming to them, and they don't really have any choice, and this Anti-Mage is going to have to be maximum effectiveness. Fortunately, it doesn't have a ton of health. But he does have all his skills finally maxed, so he will be able to sustain a fair amount of damage with that spell shield and at least burn a decent chunk of Zhao's mana, although unfortunately with Zhao having that Aegis, not going to matter too much. Earthshaker Fish are going to come out. They're trying to look to, yeah, basically all they want is they want the teammates of Zhao to come try to protect him here when he gets fissured, and then the Earthshaker will blink right on top and get that ult off. But IG just being way too smart for that, just spreading out, and they have the Disruption to be defensive anyway. Disruption on the Anti-Mage Illusion, making more Anti-Mage Illusions, and they just send those immediately to hit on the Rax. Rax is down to 400 health here. But meanwhile, the Radiant Creeps actually do manage to pick off the tower in the mid. The top tower is taking some damage as well, but the Catapult will not be enough to finish that off. And they just keep sending here. The Venomancer wards worth their weight in gold at this point for the amount they're doing. I mean, they're basically like still having a tower here, despite the fact that they don't. Although the one thing is they don't actually have a sentry ward placed down here. I guess there is a gem up for the Dire, so that kind of make short work of that sentry. But I'm kind of surprised that they haven't placed a sentry maybe back right at the racks, so that they could see if the Broodmother was trying to sneak in. But let's see, do they have a gem maybe up on someone? I don't think. Oh no, there is actually a gem up on the Venomancer. Hadn't really clicked around on heroes for items in a while, but would actually like to take a look at, I guess, if any items developed. The Invoker just had drums, but now he has his 4-staff up as well. Mech been up for a while on the Beastmaster. Mech and Pipe now, though. I really personally hate this. I've talked about this before in games that I've casted. Basically, if you pick off this one hero, you lose both of your really important team fight items. But Beastmaster is going to be pretty difficult for them to pick off, and they're at the kind of point at which they have to say beggars can't be choosers. So, other than that, yeah, just try them up on the Venomancer, typical support. Broodmother has a lot of gold, right? Yeah, 3,000 gold. Could finish up the Manta if she really wanted to, but has opted still not to. Other than that, 4-staff up, 4 faith on the Shadow Demon, and yeah, I gotta guess Chuan has enough to finish up. Yeah, and actually flying out to him right now has got to be that Aghanims. Oh no, it is actually the BKB. Okay, so he did just decide to go for the point booster and finish up the BKB instead. Even knowing that they have the Beastmaster, I mean, Beastmaster can't roar everyone, so it's not really an argument for not getting BKB on anyone. And they assume that the Beastmaster is going to be more interested in roaring, like I talked about earlier, on that Queen of Pain or on that Night Stalker, so he can get away with BKBs to Shackle, and it's just going to make him feel more confident jumping in. Looks like they are going to rotate mid here now. Yeah, I guess they just realized that they can't get in through the Venomancer ward, so a quick change of lane is going to make it easier for them to just move in. Double damage on Zhao is going to mean a lot of damage coming on the tower. Shadow Shaman wards are dropped down. They're being right-clicked as quickly as possible by these Venomancer wards, as well as I would assume the Forge Spirits. Zhao does manage to take down the tower, taking a fair amount of damage, but has that Aegis. Disruption coming up on the Anti-Mage Illusion. Beastmaster gonna roar on the Night Stalker. Zhao, meanwhile, coming in, throwing out an ult that does a fair amount of damage this time. Meteor coming out, but only hitting BKB targets, and Ferrari just coming in, doing an insane amount of damage as that Broodmother. Anti-Mage does manage to pick off the Shadow Demon and the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain is going to be back in a second. Buybacks forced by the Invoker, but they're just going to right-click down this melee racks in the mid. Fortification does come out, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Queen of Pain doing 300 right-click damage per hit. Actually is going to be forced to blink out, and they weren't able to steal the bottom tower either. So a successful defense actually here from EHOME, but I mean, by forced buybacks, more losses. It wasn't really that successful. Only successful in the sense that they didn't lose racks, but they lost tower, forced buybacks. I mean, it was not successful defense. It was painful defense, but I don't know. I mean, the game continues at least. They haven't lost racks yet, so we'll have to see what they can pull out here. I mean, it's still a long ways until Roche again, so that might mean that IG is a little more cautious about pushing in. Queen of Pain actually does just pick up a BKB, so just a casual Demon Edge for now. I mean, more right-click damage for taking down racks and towers certainly makes sense. And the problem is she lost the Aegis, so she can't really, if she was planning on going for Rapier, she certainly can't do that now that she doesn't have an Aegis. It's just too risky against a Beastmaster. Like, she can easily get blown up. Beastmaster, especially with Invoker, if Invoker throws a cold snap on it, then you have the Anti-Mage, especially with Manta Style beating on her, she's really going to be in a lot of trouble. So that BKB is just going to make it that much more difficult. And I don't know, the magic damage from the Radiant has basically been completely nullified. You've got, I think that's 4 BKBs up for the Dire now. Yeah, 4 BKBs. BKB on everyone except Shadow Demon, which is kind of disappointing me a little bit, Shadow Demon. I feel like you should pick one up as well. I know BKB is essentially useless on Shadow Demon, but for a 5-team BKB strategy, you've really got to have one. But anyway, yeah, even if the Queen of Pain was thinking about going for Daedalus for extra damage with that crit, so now that she doesn't have the Aegis, she would consider going for the BKB instead defensively. Anyway, oh, Beastmaster, wow. Nice 4-staff out there by the Invoker, saving the Beastmaster's life. Venomancer getting a good ult off. Yeah, sorry, I had something caught in my throat. Disruption coming out. I assume that's on the Anti-Mage. Yeah, an Anti-Mage illusion, actually. And those illusions are going to come in here and just start right-clicking down on this Rax. God, the illusion did so much damage. That's another argument in favor of not getting heart, is that the less tanky the illusions are, yeah, Shadow Shaman throwing out the ward, just focusing on the tower immediately. Zhao going to come in here, BKB's up. Beastmaster's going to have to roar. Beastmaster is not in position to actually roar, and Zhao does instantaneously pick off the Rax with that BKB charge. And they are going to head bottom now to try to take that melee Rax in turn with this mid pushing in. King J has gone up to the top, is pushing out that, killing creeps as fast as possible. They're farming up. Does have buyback now, so he is going to TP back. Has given momentum with that lane, and Broodmother does pick up a Daedalus, actually. Wow, Broodmother is just an insane amount of, it's not actually even honor yet, but yeah, she's just going to do an insane amount of damage with that item. Really, ooh, Earthshaker actually gets a pretty good ult off, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, IG honestly just is too far ahead. Well, with the Anti-Mage coming in within BKB now, one hero picked off, Chuan goes down as well, Anti-Mage does get the double kill, but meanwhile Night Stalker is running in after that Invoker. Pipe does save the Invoker's life, but Broodmother can just turn and fight this Anti-Mage. Spawn Spiraling Charge barely not going to be enough, Spell Shield saving, well, not really saving the Anti-Mage's life, I think he would have survived that anyway, but Anti-Mage is able to head back into the fountain now, and IG is forced back, so actually a good fight there for EHOME. A nice Earthshaker initiation. I didn't think it would be enough. I just saw those BKBs popping for IG. But Anti-Mage is pretty strong, I guess. And that's kind of what made the difference there for them, was able to push IG back, at least for the time being. But still, 25,000 gold advantage, over 25,000 experience advantage, both in favor of IG. Immediately mid-racks down. It's still a long, long, long hole for EHOME to try to climb out of here. And we'll have to see what they can do about that. I mean, well, what they can do about that is having this Anti-Mage keep farming. But again, as mentioned, as soon as the Anti-Mage picks up his heart, which I would assume would be his next choice, you've got an MKB up on the Queen of Fane, so I'm not so sure he would consider going for Butterfly. Butterfly would be good against that Broodmother, who, as we saw, is just all the more than content to turn around and right-click on the Anti-Mage. But Anti-Mage is still probably not going to win that 1-versus-1 fight anyway, with Broodmother already having her own Butterfly, and the ultimate getting a lot of lifesteal. So, I don't know. Butterfly not going to be that amazing. Heart, I assume, would be pretty much the standard choice normally. But, again, with that Shadow Demon, the stronger he makes himself, the stronger those illusions are going to be, and the more damage they're going to be able to do to the racks before they die. Looks like they wanted to smoke up here. I think they did smoke and then just didn't do anything with it. I don't really know. Just going to farm engines here. I mean, basically, they're just waiting for the next Roche. This Roche is going to have both Cheese and Aegis, and with that, they should, I assume, finally, hopefully, push in for the win. I guess they'll maybe Queen Fane will sell that bottle, give her the Aegis, finish up her Rapier, and boom goes the Dynamite. Meanwhile, though, EHOME has actually put on a little pressure on this bottom lane, pushed it almost back to the tower, just trying to buy themselves the time. I mean, they know that the next push from IG is going to come in that bottom lane, and the further they have it out, the more time Anti-Mage can farm, the more time they have to react before they have to actually get back and defend that lane. So keeping that lane as pushed out as possible is really in their favor. It'll also give them a possibility. I mean, if that lane is pushed out, they could actually make it to Roche and try to contend for this next one, which is going to be up any second now. Yeah, Roche is just now up. And we'll have to see if there's something that EHOME can do about this. Anti-Mage already blinking down, heading on his way, but the Roche is just going to fall way too fast. So Anti-Mage really would have even just been better off going after the tower. Shadow Shaman does blink in with the BKB, hexes on the Invoker. Invoker is shackled, but has already been 4-staffed up. And he has his own 4-staff still too, so he's going to be just fine. Although, actually, no. Now the Shadow Demon is going to get 4-staff forward himself. Queen of Fane is going to come in, throws out a Scream, doesn't even actually have to ult. Shadow Demon getting a Hex on the Venomancer, and then immediately destroys the gem that Venomancer had. Venomancer insta buyback. He's going to try to head to the lane, start setting up wards as quickly as possible. But it's fine. IG's just going to go back in and finish. Oh no, they already killed the Roche. Wow, they killed the Roche and fought that quickly. Yeah, that's impressive. Let's see. So, Queen of Pain, yeah, you have the Aegis. But actually, where is your item? I assume that's a Daedalus then coming to you? Yep, actually he has decided to go for the Daedalus, so still a little bit disappointed now, but I know Chinese like to play safe, so I can't really blame you for that one, and I don't know. It could also be seen as, I mean, generally speaking, Chinese players are pretty respectful. I mean, I know this is a bit of a stereotype, but from what experiences I've had, at least Asian teams are a little bit better than European and North American teams in general about bad manner stuff. So, I mean, I guess you can kind of see that going Rapier is kind of a little bit bad-mannered in a sense. You know, it's kind of, we're so far ahead that I can go this ridiculous item, which is sometimes considered to be a legitimate strategy, but more often than not, it's just kind of, not necessarily an attempt at trolling, but an attempt at asserting one's superiority over the opposing team. So by going Daedalus instead, maybe he's not really going for as much of a trolling thing. And Daedalus, to be honest, when he has this much right-click damage, actually probably increases his raw DPS by approximately as much. I don't actually want to take the time to do the math right now because I've got other things to talk about, or so you would think. Night Stalker does get Heaven's Halberd, but the item I really want to talk about, the Anti-Mage has opted to go for an Abyssal Blade, so not going for that heart, is going to go for the Bash instead, which makes sense because Bash is not transferred to Illusions. Striking on Zhao. Zhao has the Aegis, so he doesn't really care that much. Has this double damage pop, really would just love to go in here and start right-clicking people down. I mean, it just hits for an insane amount of damage, and with that mobility, I mean, this is a really old-school type Queen of Pain, doing a lot of damage. I mean, the type we would have seen with Scotty back in the day. Actually blinking into the trees there, trying to hide out, maybe going to bait them to coming in. I guess, did they haven't had to place a counter ward up there because they have a gem. So they know there is no ward up there, and they know the Queen of Pain won't be spotted there. But they're just going to come in, Queen of Pain right-clicking down this range Rax, doing a ton of damage. Beastmaster thinking about the roar, but doesn't do it, and the mid-Rax range go down. Meanwhile, the Broodmother is in the bottom, already giving some momentum. Shadow Shaman wards come up. IG should go in with this. And here they go. Yep, pipe comes up from the Beastmaster, but not really on a lot of his teammates. Still being indecisive about give that ult. Wow, eventually throws it out on Zhao after hesitating for a while. Anti-Mage, though, blinking in on the Shadow Demon, doing a ton of damage, but has already used the Abyssal. But the thing is, the Shadow Demon is dead, so you will not actually be able to make copies of that Anti-Mage now. However, unfortunately, even without the copies of the Anti-Mage, Ferrari doing an insane amount of damage. What, 3 hits down the Invoker, almost takes out the Anti-Mage. Zhao coming in gets a big scream out. Or ult out, which is actually Sonic Wave. And yeah, melee racks are down, range racks going to fall immediately afterwards. So even though they were able to pick out, the Anti-Mage was immediately able to pick out that counter to him. Actually, yeah, pick up the gem as well. It just didn't really matter too much because of how much farm IG already has, how much they're ahead. And it looks like we do have a pause coming out. So I'm just going to go take a look in the chat. I think Navi win is all I've gotten that's new. They don't really stop now. Oh. Well, I don't know what did live. Oh, yeah, they could go for the throne, I guess, but they probably should have. But I guess they're just kind of afraid the Anti-Mage is back up, and they really don't want to overextend. Again, just kind of playing careful. So yeah, they're gonna back off, and hopefully they will end this game at some point. I mean, I hate to be saying that, but it is a well, with 2 racks down, 25,000 gold advantage, and it's actually going to be even more than that as this records soon enough. I mean, IG is basically at an insurmountable advantage at this point. Maybe before, if EHOME had turned long enough and King J kept getting his farm up, they had a chance to turn it around even against a Shadow Demon, but at this point, I don't really think there's any possibility of that. Anti-Mage is doing a pretty insane amount of damage, but so is Queen of Pain and the Brood, and Night Stalker providing a good amount of control with all his abilities, as well as having that Heaven's Halberd now, which will be great at disarming that Anti-Mage. And yeah, there's just the Roche control too. I mean, they still have the Aegis up. Do they still have the Cheese? I wonder who had it. No, Cheese is not up anymore. I didn't actually pay attention to who had it. I assume it was on the Night Stalker, would have been my guess, since it wasn't on... Yeah, Night Stalker. Okay, one step ahead of you guys. Since it wasn't on the Queen of Fame. And since there was no space on the Brood. Well, by now you might have sold a Midas, to be perfectly honest, but just doesn't really have any space. Yeah, so, we'll have to see how soon it is until IG actually just goes in and pushes here. But yeah, as I was saying, I mean, Midas at this point, it does provide attack speed. Basically, the reason you bought it was for that extra gold that it would give you. So yeah, it actually does go and sell that now. I assume, I mean, he hasn't actually, Brood hasn't finished any item in a while. There's a Sacred Relic. So is he going to go for the Rapier? There's Rapier. I wonder, yeah, I mean, it's his Relic now. Maybe it's just going to be an MKB as well. That would be my guess. Because I don't know why you would go Rapier on a hero who doesn't actually have the Aegis. Although the courier is flying down towards the secret shop now. And Brood does have enough gold to buy up the Rapier. So nope, now it's flying over towards them with the smokes actually. I guess they're going to smoke in, probably go through the mid, try to catch EHOME and finish this game. Yeah. Not really a whole lot else to say about this. 2 catapult wave, so even easier for them to push this one in, right? And they do smoke up in range of the creeps and reveal it off by attacking. There's a chance EHOME, I would imagine that EHOME noticed that, but we'll see if it actually matters at all. Actually, a final gold difference tally, almost 30,000, which is pretty insane. So a big push here, and we'll see if EHOME can hold. I mean, this is Night Stalker's wet dream, being able to blink into all that, but the hero's smart enough not to stand with the creep wave, so no one's going to get caught. And they're just going to do damage to that. Our Beastmaster Roar coming out on Zhao. Zhao does actually not have the Aegis now. Earthshaker, actually nice initiation back on the back there. Zhao just barely blinking out. Anti-Mage actually using his ult on Zhao, but doesn't deal any damage through BKB, but Zhao is eventually picked off by King J. Night Stalker now running after him. King J is just trying to wear off the silence, and then is going to try to blink out up here. Shadow Shaman coming in. Zhao has actually bought out Travels, though, and is already back in the fight, and with that right-click damage, this is going to be over. Ferrari does almost go down. Zhao actually, yes, ulting on BKB's Invoker, but Invoker goes down to 2 right-clicks from Zhao anyway. Doesn't even really need to use the ult. I mean, 725, or no, 600 damage is pretty nice, but when your right-clicks are almost that much. Actually, no, they're not almost that much anymore. I guess that time she was hitting that high was just with the BKB, or with the double damage, although, I mean, she's still hitting for an insane amount of damage. And that's pretty much going to be it. Both racks going to go down here, and there's absolutely positively no way that EHOME can defend this much of an advantage for IG with Mega Creeps. Looks like Land might actually go down here, but no, GGs are going to come out, and Ferrari just deciding, yeah, it's time to right-click on some creeps with my insane amount of damage. And the Ferrari, on the other hand, is actually hitting for almost as much as Sonic Wave, or Sonic Wave does, and didn't actually end up getting a finish to see if he was going to go for the Rapier, if that was just another Daedalus. Brood actually hit. Oh yeah, it was actually an Abyssal. God, I always forget that item. I'm not very good with remembering new items. But yeah, so anyway, well played by IG. Another convincing win, basically, over EHOME. So for the 3rd. And yeah, IG just looking insane lately. They've been playing so well, showing why they deserve that spot into the Invitational, or the International. Used to calling the qualifiers, so I don't know why I would say the Invitational. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, sorry for the kind of lackluster cast here. Wasn't maybe the most interesting game ever, despite what I obviously am was just saying, and obviously having some technical difficulties in the beginning certainly didn't help. But thanks to everyone who tuned in. I am Hari from Dotalive.net, and you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, which all should, I think, be linked below. Except maybe YouTube. Maybe they don't link YouTube on Twitch, who knows. And if that's the case, I'm sure it's youtube.com/Dotalive or /Dotalive.net. Anyway, check us out, and hope you enjoyed this game from the Pro Dota World Cup, and hope you guys enjoy watching Na'Vi vs MTW in the finals of DreamHack. Have a nice night, guys.